Hello everyone, I'm Zichao. This picture is background information. With the apertures, also known as Galapagos apertures, is the only member of the family Demodidated located in the tropics. They range between 2.7 and 4.0 kg in mass, measuring 80 to 90 cm in length with wingspan of 220 to 250 cm. They are distinctive for their yellow wings, cream neck and head, which contrasts with their mostly brownish bodies. The lifespan of these species may reach 40 to 45 years, apart from a few pairs that have bred on Isla de la Plata. The entire species inhabits of Galapagos. The primary food sources of the waved albatross are fish, squid, and small birds. The nests are built on areas of lava with boulders and sparse vegetation or thick brush. The eggs are laid between April and June and incubated for 2 months. Waved albatross are spectacular flyers, perhaps even the most famous. They can fly for hours without steadying. It was uplisted to critical endangered status in the 2007 IUCN Red List. Their members are on the downward trend.
Well, my name is Jiahao, and this is my pod. And today I'm going to talking about the potential threat to wave the albatross. The first one is the loss of habitat. The main breeding ground of albatross is Ibrahim. In the past time, with a huge number of turtles, albatross have a perfect breeding habitat. But as the numbers of turtles decline, the albatross are forced to nest in epiphytic scrub, which is dangerous for their chick. And the second one is disease and parasites. Albatross will be infected evenpox, which is a type of bird flu. Although the outbreak is small, the mortality rate is extremely high. And during the year with heavy rainfall, the numbers of mosquitoes increased significantly, which will bring more parasites and cause albatross nesting rate become lower. And we can see this picture is very terrible. And the next one is marine pollution. The biggest damage to albatross is plastic. Albatross may eat large quantities of plastic and other marine waste, which will damage their digestive system, their reproductive, and those pictures come from the documentary film created by Chris Jordan. We can see this. They have many different kinds of plastic inside the dead body of albatross. While the scientists finds the vast majority of their albatross contain plastic in their stomach. And then the offshore oil pollution also have negative effect on albatross, and we can see this picture. And the last one is climate change. The warmer temperature may result in lower primary productivity, which means that the source of food is affected. For a pelagic seabird like the albatross, heavy rain and storm make flying and hunting more difficult. So this is my part. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Haoping, and let me continue the potential threats to white albatross. 5. Fisheries and interaction with fisheries will have potential threats to white albatross. First of all, white albatross will catch dead fish as food, and fishermen usually use a large quantities of dead fish as bait in the long-line fisheries, so that many white albatross may be caught when they eat the bait. According to the report, only 18% of all albatross captured will be released. 22% will be ate, and 1% will be made into bait. Second, a lot of hooks, nets, and lines are used in fishery, and hooks and gill nets may pierce the wing, throat, or packs of white albatross. Some of them were directly stabbed to death. Others drowned or bled to death because they could not free themselves from the nets and hooks for a long time. 6. Disturbance. Some white albatross that live on land may be disturbed by tourists. They live in places that are not too remote, and occasionally humans show up. Even if there are reserves or tourist attractions where they live, and tourists in the attractions are well regulated and accompanied by a trained guide. However, human activities are bound to affect and interfere with albatross living environment, food, and so on. 7. Human consumption. According to the survey, humans deliberately use hooks and lines to catch white albatross on a large scale. Most of the white albatross that were caught were ate by humans. Some of them were stripped of their feathers and processed, and others were made into bait. And that's the part of threat to white albatross.
So hello everyone, my name is Dan, and now I will make a comprehensive introduction about the conservation for the waved albatross. And I think the conservation will be divided in 3 ways, and the first one is conservation by policy. Because of the reducing population, the waved albatross have been reclassified from vulnerable to critically endangered on the IUCN Red List of threatened species prepared by BirdLife International, and it's also been included in Appendix 2 of the Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals. It's also called CMS or Berne Convention. And the third one I think is international legislation, just like in Ecuador and Peru. In Ecuador, the Galapagos Special Law mentions that all endemic and native species included the waved albatross are legally protected by the several fines and penalty of up to 3 years. And in Peru, this law prohibits hunting, capture, possession, transportation, and export of threatened wildlife for commercial purpose. And the second part I think is relevant research and protection. The first one I think is conservation sites identified and systematic monitoring scheme by the Charles Darwin Foundation, Galapagos National Park Directorate, and collaborators. And the second, I think, is enumerate the breeding population regularly. And besides this, there's also other approaches, just like the first one, standardized tourism, just like Galapagos hiking and kayaking adventures, just like the picture shows, and also some online donations, just like Galapagos Conservation Trust.
My name is Weiqi. As my partner mentioned before, we are doubting the effectiveness of the conservation. As we can see from the table, it seems that the situation of waved albatross is not getting any better. We looked up of the materials and we found out that there are many causes that led to this condition, such as artisanal fisheries, introduced species like goats, and also incompleted laws and human-induced mortality. First, waved albatross is classified as critically endangered. The reason of this is that it has a very small breeding range, essentially confined to one island. And what's more, various evidence suggests that a substantial population decline linked to Weiqi mortality occurred recently in artisanal fisheries in its principal foraging grounds. And second, introduced species like feral goats, copper herkers inhabited there for more than 80 years, damaging the local grassland and changing the landscape and the vegetation across the island. And these led to a consequent reduction in nesting habitat for waved albatross. And third, although there is law that protects wildlife from commercial purpose, but there are no sanctions to help enforce the law. And last, there is evidence suggests that the major reduction in population size and adult survival due to the human-induced mortality that could lead to extinction within a few decades. To sum up, in my opinion, this conservation somehow is not very effective.
I am going to finish the last part of what more can be done for waved albatross. Fisheries interactions. It is apparent that fisheries are affecting waved albatross adversely. Therefore, to protect the waved albatross, fishermen need more education to regulate their behavior, since waved albatross live only on a handful of islands. A modest reduction in fishing near their habitats could keep albatross away from food shortages. This requires the cooperation of the fishermen, who should be rated for helping waved albatross. Biodiversity conservation. The island which waved albatross lives exists a wide variety of species that live together to form a chain of life, such as the Galapagos turtles. As my teammate mentioned before, they can create breeding habitats for waved albatross, so as the turtle population decline, the albatross breeding habitat disappear as well. So protecting the balance between the species is imperative. In addition, eliminating invaders are necessary to ensure the ecological balance. Human activities. Human activity is the root cause of the mass extinctions. For waved albatross, plastic pollution is extremely bad for their lives. Humans should reduce plastic pollution in the oceans or recycle plastic around the island to ensure waved albatross won't consume too much plastic in their body. In addition, some medicines can help them avoid diseases. On the other hand, re-examine the tourist activities, plan better travel routes, strengthen the training of tour guides, and control the number of tourists, which could keep the waved albatross life habitats would not be affected. Periodic monitoring program. More important, the implementation of the regulated monitoring program, population monitoring, habitat and environment monitoring, the impact of the human activity monitoring, to control the waved albatross situations and adjust the protection measures so that the waved albatross would survive in the earth forever. Thanks for listening. Any questions?